All right, guys, welcome to day 3. It's always kind of bittersweet to be at the last day of an event because it's good to go home and kind of sleep in your own bed. That's always a nice thing. But it's fun just being at a paintball event, just being able to be surrounded by something that you love. But like I had said yesterday, I wanted to actually interview Bianca here. He is the manager, coach,
I'm just a player.
Guru, whatever for Prime. So I'm really grateful when I hit Bianca up about being able to jump on for this event. So I really appreciate being able to play.
We really enjoyed having you.
Thank you. So, but like I had said yesterday, I wanted to interview him, and that way you guys can get some information just about, how to manage a team, coaching, things like that. Things that I think a lot of people don't understand. So I guess we can just jump right into it. So I guess first, kind of give us your paintball background. What is it that...
Oh.
I mean, as far back as you want to go.
Well, let's see. I'm a little older than your average bear. So I've been playing paintball for several years. I got started back in the early 90s. Mike McGowan and myself got together one year, and so we competed against each other for a long time, and then we got together on a team. And we played together on several different teams and incarnations, and then one day he calls me up and he says, "Hey, what if we could do it our way?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "Without anyone telling us what to do, our way, our sponsors, our field, our whatever we want to do." And I said, "Man, I'd like to be a part of that." And we got together, and through the Prime Paintball program was born, and we started back in the winter of 2009. Went and entered our first regional event, the CFOA series. I understand it's still going strong. Great series to start with. And we entered the very first event, and with a grassroots, team from most of the players from Alabama and Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
And we went and won it, and kind of shocked people. Everyone wanted to know who are these people? Never even heard of them.
Start, yeah.
And then we went on to win the series. We won the CFOA X-Ball series, and we set 2 goals. And that's something that's very important, is you need to set goals. And we set a goal that first year, and we said we wanted to win the CFOA X-Ball series in D3, and we wanted to be a competitive Sunday team in the PSP, or in the national series at the time, by World Cup. We won the CFOA X-Ball series, and we made Sunday and ended up getting 6th place at World Cup.
Nice.
And after only playing 3 national events. So, and then it just grew. I think it became something we couldn't have ever expected, and I think that is because of the great people who are involved in the program. There's so many to mention, but obviously the McGowans and the what we call the OG team, and all those people. We had some great sponsors. What was great is that first year we said we didn't want any sponsors, because we wanted to be able to come to the sponsors the following year and say, "Hey, this is what we can bring to you." And we got together, developed some packages, and just got together with some great people. We got together with GI Sports, got together with Exalt, got together with Ninja. It's just been fantastic. And they've been very supportive and great ever since. So.
Nice, awesome. So cool. So Bianca, tell us a little bit about what do you think it takes for a team to be successful? For those of you that maybe don't know, Prime, they've been successful. I mean, they're constantly a team that makes Sunday. Honestly, they're a super successful program. It doesn't really matter what tournament series. It seems like Prime is always in the running for the top position there. So what do you think it takes? I guess we'll cut it into 2 sections. Let's start with kind of the managerial side, okay. And then the coaching side, because those are 2 different roles. I know you kind of play both roles, but what is it? Let's start with managerial. What do you think is the most important thing that you could share with the viewers, that if they're just starting a team, kind of the right foot to start on, and then maybe teams that are already along, that they can maybe adjust to be more successful?
I think when it comes to managerial aspects, you got to have that leadership hierarchy. There has to be a hierarchy. There has to be those people who are responsible for very specific things. So let's talk. In my opinion, the less the team has to think about, the better. The more they can focus on the matches, the games, the game plans, etc., the better. So logistically speaking, is our hotel, our house, whatever, the rental place that we're landing at, is that already handled? Is that already paid for? Let's get ahead of that, so that we're not rushing the last minute to find a place and we're 20 miles away from where we need to be. So I would say logistics is an incredibly important part of managerial. But the other aspect, of course, is, so now I've got the team focused, but the other aspect is making sure that managerially you have a good practice schedule, right? So that might bleed into a little bit of the coaching aspect. But the more organized an organization is, the more organized a program or a team is, the more efficient and more effective they'll be. That means more time can be focused on making the team better.
Right.
So I would say when it comes to managing a team, you want to have that person or persons who are responsible for getting things done. You know, the grunt work. And by the way, take good care of those people. All right, because it's not a lot of fun.
No.
But it's good. It's good, and it creates an efficiency and an effectiveness that the team can now focus on the more important things.
Right. So. If I can give Prime credit, this is probably the smoothest I've ever had a tournament. It was great being able to know, like, okay, we're getting up. We're all going to be here at 6:30. Everybody was there on time, which for paintballers is really, really difficult.
Rare.
Extremely difficult. I've played for a while now, and it's rare to see that. And then we get to the field, and Bianca's like, all right, we're going to go do this. By this time, we're doing this. And then by this time, we're doing this. And I'm like, awesome. I love not having to think about it. So it really does make a difference to not have to worry about those kinds of aspects.
Sure.
So let's get into the coaching aspect.
Okay.
So maybe we can start with practices and then at the tournament. I know those are two completely different things.
Not necessarily. You've probably heard the term, practice like you play.
Right.
One thing I always stress and constantly is fundamentals. We're constantly doing fundamentals, we're constantly snapping, we're constantly laning, we're constantly working on communication drills. We're doing all of that as often as we can. And the reason why I think Prime saw some of the success it has, and not near the success we would hope it has, hopefully that's going to change soon. But I would say is because those members, those people who wear the jersey, understand that I'm giving up a large portion of my weekends and my off time, my downtime, to spend at the field with these same 6, 7, 8 guys. And so from a coaching perspective in a practice, one of the first things a coach can do is pick the right personnel. Honesty is a very important thing in paintball.
Absolutely.
A lot of people want to talk about friendships and playing with your boys and doing that, and that's great. Successful programs, just like any other successful program in any other sport, there has to be that honesty. And that honesty includes saying, hey man, this is where our strengths are, this is where our weaknesses are, including on an individual level, and being honest with each other and understanding where we need to fix things. And if certain things aren't getting fixed or progressing in a particular way, maybe it's time to make a change.
Right.
So you've got to have that honesty, not just with the team, with yourself. And so then next is the trust. You've got to make sure you pick the personnel who gel well together. That's not an easy thing to do.
Absolutely.
But those guys who can gel together, who can spend an entire weekend, spend 3 days, 4 days in Vegas in the same house together.
And not murder each other.
And all get along and have a good, that's important. So that gelling thing. So, but that also translates to the field. If I don't trust you, the guy beside me or the guy in front of me or the guy behind me, much less trust the guy to share, the house with and food with and break bread with, well, then I'm not going to trust him on the field. And if there's no trust, there's no winning.
Dead in the water, yeah.
There's no winning, because if I'm not trusting you to do your job, then I can't focus on mine. So I think that's very important. Now, I realize I go off on tangents a lot. I have a tendency to do that. And if anyone ever reads my blog, they'll realize that I kind of, wait, where was he going with that one? But I think from Prime gets up and we will meet at that field. We'll have it, usually we'll try and get out there on a Friday and have it, it's a private field for the record. A lot of people don't realize
I'm jealous of the field, by the way. I've played there before. It's perfect grass. They have an observation deck where they can film their practices. I'm jealous of that field, by the way. Just a side note, yeah.
Well, honestly, the McGowan family are absolutely fantastic people. I love them to death. They're family, and they take real good care of us. And of course, by the way, big shout out to the PC Katana family. Who's now expanded.
Right.
3 members of Prime have gone on to play
Absolutely.
professionally.
Yeah.
And of course they're coming out of Prime now, practicing out of Prime. So that's really great. Back to the practice, when you're having an important, we'll set up the field on Fridays and everything, get everything ready. We start the day with warm-ups. We do things to get the blood flowing. We want to get the blood flowing, creative juices going. We walk a field, and we'll spend that time together. and we'll study and focus that field layout. Something a lot of teams don't do, something that a lot of paintball teams should probably start doing, and I know there are certain successful programs that do this. We will videotape practices from the observation deck you just talked about.
Yeah.
We will practice all day and do things. We'll do drills, we'll do breakouts, we'll do situational drills. A lot of teams don't understand the importance of that.
Right.
And you'll see situational drills all the time when you're watching paintball. You're like, hey, there's the island drill. You know, oh, look, there's that 3-on-3 we were doing on this.
Right.
So we do that over and over and over again until we understand the right processes. And then we'll guess what we'll do at the end of the day. We'll go eat, and then we'll watch film. And we'll understand, hey, this should probably have happened. Yeah, we could have done this. Hey, back it up. Let's watch that again and understand how we see when he turned his head and took dropped his zone here, this is when this guy was able to fill.
Right.
That's important stuff. Seeing yourself play. It's one thing to have, play and then have someone come up and tell you, hey, you could have done this.
Right.
It's another thing to go back and watch yourself play and
Right.
say, he's right, I probably could have done that.
Right.
So, and a lot of people think you get out there and bang points. That's not what it's about. I don't think that's what makes a team as successful as something. I think you get out there and do a lot of situational. Of course you're going to play points.
Right.
You got to have that gelling of the team. You got to have that core team out there. Those
Learn
five.
the breakouts.
Learn
what
the
you need to
breakouts.
do.
Who
Right.
can feed off who well.
Absolutely.
And layouts are just like any other. You've got to learn the game again.
Right.
I talked about this in my last blog. Understanding and naming and understanding what can happen at each bunker and what each bunker is good for will give you a roadmap to the people who play the 3s and the 2s.
Right.
If things happen and go wrong here, okay, this is the game plan. A lot of people think the game plan is the breakout. No, the breakout's the breakout. The game plan is what we're trying to achieve that point.
Right.
Are we trying to push down the snake side? Are we trying to push here? Are we wanting to utilize this? Are we trying to slow the game down? These are all different things. And the roadmap happens when, okay, I know that based off all these ways we've defined these bunkers, and now this has happened and this happened, they're there, we're here. That means I need to be here to
Right.
support so-and-so here to create this opening.
Right.
So it's that's the way we try to look at it. X's and O's.
Right.
And understanding the if A, then B paintball.
Right. Right.
So.
I even noticed that when we were playing different teams. So when we had moved on, we weren't as fortunate on day one, but day two we went in. Okay, we're playing this team. Bianca had actually gone in and mapped out what they were doing, and then based on that, okay, we're going to do this with this team. So our game plan was push really hard against this team. This other team, though, the next one that we played, it was, okay, we're going to sit back, we're going to sit a little bit more and shoot a little bit more paint, because we're going to kind of play their game against them. So it was, again, it was that long game. Right. It wasn't, okay, we're going to break out and then figure it out from there. It was, I'm going to do this, and then from there we're going to do this, and this is the idea of it, which is super helpful. Again, it's great being able to go in, and I love being able to get in the pit, and then Bianca go, Greg, you're going to go to this bunker, shoot this, and then after that, okay, that sounds good. I like not having to think in the beginning of the game is awesome. I love it. Yeah, so I know we've been talking for a while. I know we already were talking for a long time.
Yeah, we've been talking for 3 days. It's
yeah,
been a good
exactly.
time.
Yeah. So I wanted to give you a chance, though. Do you have any shout outs? And also, please tell us about Zen and the Art of Paintball, where they can go and read your blog. Sponsors, things like that.
Absolutely. GI Sports, Exalt, and Ninja USA. Those are those people who keep us running. And of course, Prime Paintball. I could name 100 million people that I'd love to do. Of course, I got to say a big shout out to my boys on Prime. Love you guys. Got a lot of people I want to say hi to, but I won't take up your time. If you are interested in reading my blog is www.zenandtheartofpaintball. It's all one word, .com. And the concept, the reason why I started this is it was more of a, at first it started as a blog for Prime, just kind of saying, hey, this is what we did at this event, wow, we really blew it here, hey, we did this okay, we need to work on this, and it was hey, this is what we're doing, hi. And then it just kind of morphed into, I realized that the more I talked to people in the professional level and other programs and teams, I realized there was a big hole on certain aspects regarding leadership or management.
Right.
Or, hey, we've been here. Maybe if you read this is a great way to understand how we might have experienced something that you haven't, and we can help you. And so it's just more of It's just a blog where I put down my thoughts and people laugh at me.
And be water.
And be water, my friend. That's right.
Well, Bianca, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. And again, thank you for letting me jump in with the team.
Oh, man, it was great. Greg can play, boys.
I actually can play paintball. I can teach you how to play paintball because I know how to play paintball. But yeah, thank you again so much.
It's great.
And guys, as always, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.